Today's video is brought to you by excessive line ruling and carpal tunnel. Hello again team, it's Jess or JashiiCorrin and welcome back for another video. Today we are setting up my new bullet journal, the one that I'm going to be using for the second half of 2021, and I am so damn excited. Oh my lord, this journal is gorgeous. The layout I set up, I'm in love with. Everything is good, let's get into it. As you saw though, I am using another Archer and Olive journal for the second half of this year, and this one's from the collaboration done between Archer and Olive and Liz of the Greater Good. I really love the faux leather cover, I love the little stars, I'm a sucker for stars. I knew as soon as I got this notebook that it was going to be my next journal. At the time of doing this voiceover, it is still available on the Archer and Olive website, and I've got that linked in the description box below, along with any of the other equipment I use in this setup. As you guys likely already know, I am currently part of the brand Delight team for Archer and Olive, and I do have a discount code you guys can use if you ever want to buy any of their products. So that's JashiiCorrin10 for 10% off. On to what I'm doing here though, you can see that as promised, I am doing a lot of line ruling. Since about February, I've known that for my start of journal pages in this bullet journal, I wanted to go with a pegboard theme. I've been seeing this theme pop up more and more recently, and I absolutely love what people do with it. I also think it's a really nice simple style of decoration, because realistically it's just drawing a grid behind whatever elements you want to put on the page. Of course, I opted in for a ruler for all of my grid drawing, because I like straight lines, but I do know a lot of people choose to go in freehand for a more organic kind of look. I also knew that as part of this setup I wanted to use craft paper, so I made really good use of my Archer and Olive A5 notepad to add craft paper elements to each of my spreads. Outside of this though, the main decorations I used were doodles of plant matter and Polaroids. The colours that I went with in this setup outside of the craft paper were of course black and white, love my contrast, and also green and pink tones. Though I also used a light grey Tombow to do drop shadows on any of the boxes that sat over my grid. In terms of the page I'm actually setting up here though, for my past few journals I've opted in to start with a quote page, but for this one I wanted to do something a little bit different. Here you can see I have 6 craft paper boxes, and each of these are going to house my goals for the second half of the year. So 3 for quarter 3 and 3 for quarter 4. I don't fill those goals in this video, haven't quite decided what they're going to be considering we're only, halfway through June. But I'll be writing those in towards the end of the month just with my Black Pit Artist pen. In terms of timing, from first touch of the pen to final erasings, this cover page took about 35 minutes, but that doesn't include any time used to sketch in the design and also to come up with the design. If this is one of my first videos you're watching, welcome, it's a pleasure to have you here. In these videos, I like to include the time taken for my spreads, just so that you guys get some realistic expectations about how long these things actually take. It can be kind of hard to judge with the time lapse as to how much time is spent on these spreads. First page done though, and now we are on to what is going to be my future log. In the setup of my last bullet journal, or the one that I'm using currently, I didn't actually include a future log in my initial setup, which I was coming to regret come about mid-February. In the bullet journal before that one, I'd barely touched my future log, so I thought I might trial not having it. Turns out that despite only using it minimally sometimes, I still like to use it. So it's going in this journal. For this one I'm just going with a simple design that has 6 boxes per page, so 11 of those being for the months of July through to June next year, and then 1 box for any events that fall beyond that. As a side note, if you were looking to set up a future log in your next journal and wanted some inspiration, I do have a video that I released recently on different styles of future log, which might be helpful to check out. Any of the other videos that I mentioned during this setup can also be found linked in the description box below. After the 40 minutes it took to set up my future log though, we're now onto the space for my 101 things in 2021 list. This spread is exactly what it sounds like, so 101 things, whether they be big, small, or anywhere in between, that I want to accomplish this year. Of course, some of them I have already done, but I'm probably going to transfer all of the tasks over when it comes to populating my spreads. Despite being pretty much halfway through the year as well, I also don't actually have all of my 101 things sorted out in terms of what I want to do. If you have any suggestions of things that you think I could put on this list, or even if you wanted to share some ideas of what you might put on a list like this, I would love to hear them. One of the things that was on my list though was to make a giveaway bullet journal, and as promised, I'm going to be announcing the winner of that in this video. If you hadn't seen the setup video for the giveaway journal, I do encourage you guys to go check it out. Even though the giveaway is closed, it still has some ideas of spreads you can include in a new bullet journal setup. This layout here took about 26 minutes from first touch of the pen, though I know it's going to take a fair bit of time to fill it in as well. Although, as I said previously, this pegboard style decoration is fairly straightforward, that didn't mean it wasn't time consuming. As I also said though, I do really love how it turned out. With this spread done though, we are on to the next one, which came in with a setup time of 50 minutes. This one is my media consumed and 21/21s in 2021 spread. So on the lower half of the left-hand page, I'll have a space to record my progress on those 21 things that I want to do 21 times this year. But the rest of the space is going to house boxes to write out any movies or TV shows I watch, games that I play, books I read, or classes that I take. While in my last iteration of this layout, I only had spaces for movies, TV shows, books, and classes, I more than once found myself wanting to record games as well. Last time I also opted to not have a set amount of space to record each of those things. But given that the space I did use in the last setup gave me a pretty good indication of how much space I need, I figured that for this one I would set up separate boxes in advance. Hopefully I don't end up running out of space on any of those sections. Flipping on over and we are on to all things health related. This page is a combination of a couple different things, so on the left hand page I have a weight loss tracker, both in the form of a line graph at the top and then just kind of a summary section at the bottom. Then on the left hand side of the right hand page, I have a space to record meal ideas. This is done using an Alastair method. So I have 4 columns initially, one for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack, and then a space to write out what the idea is beside that. Next to this, in the box at the bottom, I then have a key, which corresponds to the tracker on the rightmost section of the page, which is for my steps. In this one I'll be using a colour scale to represent how many steps I did each day. I didn't put any health related spreads in my last bullet journal setup, mainly because I usually find that I don't use them as much as I probably should. But for the sections that I have on this spread, I have been a little bit more intentional about only putting in things that realistically I will actually use. You'll have seen so far in the spreads I've set up, I've been decorating the pages with 2 different types of washi tape, so the grid washi tape and the black washi tape. Sadly, on the last spread, I actually ran out of the solid black washi, so you may have seen I drew this one in with my pen. It worked okay wherever I just wanted the black by itself, but sadly I wasn't able to do as much of the layering with the grid washi that I wanted to do. After 55 minutes though, this layout was done and it was over the page and onto what is my monthly challenges and monthly to-dos page. The monthly challenges that I'm going to be putting on the left-hand page are mainly going to center around personal development. I know there are a whole heap of different skills that I want to work on, but I never really find myself making the time to actually do them. I also think it's in part because of choice paralysis. There's so many things that I want to work on, so I don't work on anything. The intention then is for each month of the year to set up one skill that I want to work on and one book that I want to read. The book doesn't necessarily have to be related to the skill, but in some cases it probably will be. For the monthly tasks page, this is just what it sounds like. Tasks that I want to do on a monthly basis. I'll again be using the Alastair method here, so having a column for each of the 6 months for the life of this journal. But I don't actually write those headings in here. Those ones are going to go on the pink strip though. This one took 38 minutes to set up, as did the next one. Though thanks to the magic of editing, we don't have to watch for quite that long. For the 2 pages that we have on this spread, the one on the left is going to be for my social media statistics, whereas the one on the right is for my planning routines, those being daily, weekly, and monthly. My statistics page is set up in the same way as the last time I did this one, so in my current bullet journal, except in the top section I now have an additional column for my vlog channel. So the other columns I have are for this channel, my Instagram account, my Facebook account, and my Pinterest account. In the bottom section of my statistics page, I'm tracking some analytics for this channel. So things like the number of monthly views I got, the amount of watch hours, click-through rate, stuff like that. Coming up to what was one of my favourite layouts in my last bullet journal setup, we have my then and now page, or my hi it's Jess page. In this one I split the page into 2 columns, one for the first day of this journal and one for the last. On each of those 2 days I then write some little notes about myself based on some prompts that I'll write in the middle. So things like, what's a recent accomplishment? What's something I'm looking forward to? How much do I have in savings? Stuff like that. I also set up a page like this in the giveaway bullet journal, for which we'll be announcing the winner shortly. But on the right hand side of the spread we have my someday maybe list. So this is a place to list down to-dos that are things that I want to do, but I don't necessarily want to do them right now. While I go and add the final bits onto the spread, the total setup time for which was about 22 minutes, I figured now is as good a time as any to say a big congratulations to our giveaway winner. Before we announce them, of course, a big thank you to everybody who did enter. It was really awesome to see how enthusiastic you guys were with the prospect of winning a journal with pages set up by me. But our winner for this giveaway is April G. I had a lot of fun setting up the giveaway bullet journal, so if you guys would like me to do something similar for January through to June of next year, make sure to leave a comment below telling me that you'd be keen. Now as I've gained enough confidence in setting up pages in this journal though, it's time to go and put my name into the front. This is always the part that I find the most nerve-wracking, just because it's the very first page of the journal, so typically it's not the first thing that I do. Having a flip through of the pages that we set up in this video though, I am so chuffed with how they all came together. I really appreciate the cohesiveness of them, and I'm really excited to get to fill them in. I'll actually be doing that as part of my monthly Q&A video, which is set to come out not next week but the week after. But next weekend I'll have my July plan with me for you. I haven't decided on a theme for that setup yet, so if you had any suggestions, please do leave them in the comments below. Another big congratulations to our giveaway winner, and I'll be releasing videos of the setups of the monthly pages for that journal over the next 6 months. Question of the day for you guys though, when you set up a new journal, do you like to use a theme for your start of journal spreads? I am absolutely in love with the pegboard theme I used here. I super appreciate how cohesive these pages ended up, and I am so excited to get to start using this journal. As always team, thank you for watching. If you liked today's video, please do make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to my channel for more on planning, productivity, and personal development. Until next time, bye!